Hey up, YouTube. Welcome back to another video with Rams fan at YT. We are now, I think it's 3/4 of the way through this series, which has been going on for quite a while now. But we're on episode 15, and at the time, 5 points all season. Not looking well for the Blades, but that hasn't always been that case. They have been very successful in the past. Let's start, though, when they were formed. Back as members of the Sheffield United Cricket Club. All the way back in 1854, to be fair. But they were the first English sports club ever actually to use the term United. So I think these should be the real United people instead of the Manchester United. Sheffield United's predominant nickname, however, is actually the Blades, as to avoid confusion, as well as a reference to the Sheffield's status use of cutlery in the United Kingdom. United's original nickname was actually, in fact, the Cutlers from 1889 to 1912. City rivals Wednesday held the nickname the Blades in the early years. So Sheffield United sort of took that, didn't they? However, in 1907, Wednesday officially became known as the Owls, in reference to their no ground in Owlerton. And United would later claim the Blades nickname for themselves. Sheffield United was actually officially formed on the 22nd of March 1889 at the Adelphi Hotel in Sheffield. This is now actually the site of a Crucible Theatre, which I think that's snooker. Yeah, that is where the World Championships take place. And it was created by the president of the cricket club, Sir Charles Clegg. The Wednesday had moved from Bramwell Lane to their own ground at Olive Grove after a dispute over gate receipts, and the tenants of Bramwell Lane needed to create a new team to generate income. Sir Charles Clegg was incidentally also the president of the Wednesday. Very similar history there to if you've watched either my Everton or Liverpool. It's had a very similar story to begin with as well, with the same owner, but one went to a different stadium. Undoubtedly, it was a 30-year period from 1895 to 1925, when we were champions of England in 1897, 98, and runners-up in 1896, 97, and 1899, 1900. They also won the FA Cup in 1899, 1902, 1915, and 1925. United have not actually won a trophy since 1925, bar those associated with promotion from lower leagues. The best performances in cup competitions being several semi-final appearances in the FA Cup and League Cup. Their darkest days came a long while later, between 1975 and 1981. After they had finished 6th in the first division at the end of the 1974-75 season, they were relegated to the second division the following season. And 3 years after that setback, they fell into the third division. They reached an absolute low in 1981, when they were relegated to the fourth division. But they were champions in their first season in the league's basement division. And 2 years afterwards, they were promoted to the second division. They fell back into the third division in 1988, but new manager Dave Bassett masterminded a quick revival, which launched the Blades towards one of the most successful eras in their history. Successive promotions in the aftermath of the 1988 relegation saw them return to the first division in 1990, after a 14-year exile. They survived at this level for 4 seasons. They were actually founding members of the Premier League in 1992, after peaking with a 9th place finish for the last season of the old First Division. And they reached an FA Cup semi-final in 1992-93, being relegated in 1994. They remained outside the top flight for the next 12 years, although they qualified for the playoffs under Bassett's successor, Howard Kendall, in 1997, and caretaker manager Steve Thompson in 1998. They were struggling at the wrong end of Division 1 when Neil Warnock was appointed manager in December 1999, and a financial crisis was preventing the club from being able to boost their squad. But in the 2002-03 season, they enjoyed their most successful season for a decade, reaching the semi-finals of both domestic cups and also reaching the Division 1 playoff final. They were beaten 3-0 by Wolverhampton Wanderers in the latter competition. 3 years later, however, Warnock delivered a Premier League return as the Blades finished runners-up in the rebranded Championship. They lasted just 1 season back amongst the elite before being relegated from the Premier League amidst the controversy surrounding Carlos Tevez, the player who controversially signed by West Ham United and whose performances played a big part in their remarkable escape from relegation. Neil Warnock resigned as manager after the Blades went down. The team also purchased Chinese club Chengdu Winui, that's how you pronounce it, in 2006, and redesigned the club crest in the style of the Sheffield United badge and renamed the team the Chengdu. But that team was dissolved in 2015. The club struggled to come to terms with life back in the Championship, with a spiralling wage bill not being matched by the quality of players brought in, and a succession of managers within a short period of time. The Blades reached the Championship playoff final in 2009 under Kevin Blackwell, but a period of decline then set in. The 2010-11 season would play in the third tier of English football for the first time since 1989, only 5 years after getting promotion to the Premiership. In the 2011-12 finished third in League One, narrowly missing out on automatic promotion to rivals Sheffield Wednesday, and entered the playoffs. With victory in the final, United missed out on an immediate return to the Championship after suffering a penalty shootout defeat to Huddersfield Town after a 5th place finish, but they were knocked out by eventual promotion winners Yeovil on an 85th minute goal in the second leg of the semi-finals. On the 3rd of September 2013, it was confirmed that HRH, or His Royal Highness, Prince Abdullah bin Mossad bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of the Royal House of Saud had bought a 50% stake in United's parent company, Blades Leisure Limited, with the promise of providing substantial new capital, with the aim of returning the Blades to the Premier League as quickly as possible, and hopefully within 5 years. Both parties at that time agreed to include a roulette notice mechanism to end their arrangement when they no longer wished to work together. In 2014, the Blades began to be described by areas of the media as giant killers, having reached the FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley, losing 5-3 to Hull City. In 2014-15, the team reached the quarter-finals of the FA Cup and semi-finals of the EFL Cup, and despite being eliminated, they remained in contention for promotion to the Championship. United secured back to the second tier, promotion back to the second tier of English football in the 2016-17 season, under the management of lifelong fan and former Blades player Chris Wilder, winning the League One title with 100 points. That's a pretty high points total there. The Blades finished 10th season back in the Championship, having spent much of it in and around the playoff positions. During that season, in late 2017, co-owner Kevin McCarthy served a roulette notice on Prince Abdullah, giving him the option to sell his 50% at £5 million or buy Maccabi's 50% for the same price. Prince Abdullah chose to buy, but Maccabi refused to sell, a decision that ended up before the High Court of Justice, Business and Property Courts of England and Wales. In the 2018-19 season, the team enjoyed a highly successful campaign in achieving automatic promotion to the Premier League, with United having spent almost all of the season in the top 6 of the Championship, fighting for automatic promotion until clinching second place over Leeds United with a game to spare, by beating already relegated Ipswich Town 2-0 at Bramall Lane on the 27th of April 2019. Leeds is 1-1 home draw with Aston Villa the next day, ensured top-flight football for the Blades for the first time in 12 years. Sheffield United's first season back in the Premier League after 12 years, this was only last season in 2019-20, And despite being tipped by many for relegation, they actually produced a 9th place finish. Despite this, between Prince Abdullah and Maccabi continued. In September 2019, after 20 months of litigation, the High Court issued its judgment, requiring Maccabi's company to sell its shares in Blades. Maccabi sought permission to appeal from the High Court and Court of Appeal, but both appeals were rejected. As a result, Prince Abdullah became the sole beneficial owner of the club. In the 2020-21 season, the Blades acquired just 2 points from 14 matches, with those coming from 1-1 draws with Fulham and Brighton respectively. They are currently sitting at 20th place in the table, 5 points less than West Brom, who are there at 19th place. So, I hope you very much enjoyed that video. I will undoubtedly be mentioned in my next video, going through the best club made in every single year, part 1. That'll be a 2-part one. And then the history of your club will be return next week with Southampton, from one end of the country to the other. So, see you then.